All right. What is up, everybody? We have a WNBA video today. Exciting stuff. The draft lottery happened this past Sunday. The pick order is in. Let's go over it real quick, and then we'll hit some other stuff going on around the draft, around the offseason a little bit. Picking at 4 is the Washington Mystics. Picking at 3 is the Chicago Sky. Picking at 2 is the Los Angeles Sparks. And picking at 1 is the Dallas Wings. Everybody was projecting, or hoping, I should say, the Sparks were going to win. Obviously, the bigger market. Um, and this draft is the Paige Bueckers sweepstakes. Um, I just want to make it clear my qualifications to talk about this sort of stuff. Um, I've been a WNBA fan since 2017. I'm a big fan of women's hoops. I'm a realist when it comes to women's hoops as a whole, um, and I always want to see the game grow. I want to see the popularity grow. I want to see people get paid, um, and the first important step in that is getting more great young talent in the league. And I haven't honestly been invested in this draft as much as I was last year. Obviously, last year was an anomaly for women's basketball, college basketball. Um, it was a great year, um, but I will do more of my research as the draft gets closer and all that. So forgive me if I don't know the some of the college players that I'm going to list here. I'm just gonna go off of stats, off of what I've heard from other people, um, and yeah. So and obviously team structure and everything. I don't watch every WNBA game, um, because they're not all easily accessible. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to do my best here to try to inform you guys on what's going on and my thoughts on Paige Bueckers and these other ladies in the draft. Um, so yeah, the Dallas Wings won the draft, man. They won the draft. They won the draft lottery. Um, they will hopefully select Paige Bueckers. Um, it came out on Monday that um, the Sparks were reportedly Paige Bueckers' um, preferred destination. And I quote, sources around the league have indicated that the Los Angeles Sparks, who got the number 2 pick in the draft lottery, would have been Paige Bueckers' preferred option. Like the Wings, the Sparks are also currently don't have a head coach, but the but Los Angeles is a gigantic market, and the team could have use for a guard like Bueckers. Um, we'll hit this first, just because I think it's important to get it out of the way, and then we can obviously talk about these other teams and what they could do and should do going forward here. But I think I think whenever any player in any league has the chance to go to LA or go to New York or go to any of these big markets, Chicago, Miami, um, they would obviously prefer to go there because it's good for the brand. Paige Bueckers has been talked about far more, I mean, for far longer than Caitlin Clark. She Paige Bueckers was on the scene before Caitlin exploded. Um, I'm not the biggest Paige Bueckers fan. I respect her game. To me, she has Steve Nash like qualities, more so than Caitlin Clark. I think Caitlin Clark is a gamer. I think she's been in a lot bigger moments. I think she's been obviously anointed the future of WNBA basketball. But before all that, there was Paige Bueckers, and I think Paige Bueckers deserves her respect. Um, that being said, her wanting to go to LA isn't a surprise. Um, the roster LA has right now is is in flux. They have had some issues in the past constructing rosters the past couple years. The coaching carousel has been terrible over there. But just to name off a few players they have that I think are good. This is my personal opinion. Obviously, they weren't too good last year. Obviously, if you're in the loop, Cameron Brink was had an injury. She was out for the season. She played like 3 or 4 games and then she was out. But to go through the roster, Cameron Brink, last year #2 pick, Lexi Brown, Ray Burrell, um, Darica Hamby, NBA champion, Rika Jackson, Kia Nurse, Odyssey Sims, um, names that pop out to me. They are in desperate need of a true guard, and that is Paige Bueckers. Do I think they could? I don't think that I don't think Dallas is giving up this pick for anything. I think um, Paige would have to say, and this has been done in the NBA. Do I think would happen in the WNBA? I don't know. I don't know how big Paige's ego is. I think she's a very competitive person. She's a very um, a wants to win person. I think Dallas is in that position more than the Sparks right now. But that being said, would would Paige say, "Hey, don't draft me, or I'm not going to play for you. I'm just going to go overseas"? That has happened in the NBA and other leagues. Do I think Paige would say that to a WNBA team and just make a big mess of it before she's even played a game? No. If she really wants to only play for LA, that would be the course of action to go. But like I said, Dallas is closer to competing than the Sparks are. Dallas has obviously I almost said all NBA, all WNBA, All Star Arika. I will not butcher her last name. You know who I'm talking about. They have Satu. They have Maddie. They have. I apologize. I'm not going to butcher any of these names. You can look up their roster. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, they have Kalani Brown. They have Natasha Howard. Um, Tara McCowan. Tiara. Jeez, man, these are tougher than NBA names. Um, but they are closer to competing, and Arika has kept this team in playoff conversations. They've never been able to make it over the hump, um, but they're definitely closer. I think that's appealing to a player like Paige to say, "Hey, we are more competitive than the other team you do want to go to. You are going to have to take the blow that there won't be as many marketing opportunities, but we are more competitive right now." Now, could LA is always a place where players want to come and play. No matter the sport, no matter what happens, they always want to come and play in LA. Could the Sparks filter a team to be competitive right away? Possibly, but they need a coach. They need a coach. I haven't seen too many names floated out there recently, but I think if I think if you can get a guarantee from Dallas that they're not going to pick Paige or they're going to swap players. Like, there's going to be a draft night trade, and you know that going ahead, you can pick a coach that fits Paige and a coach that fits Paige and Paige that Paige likes or could like or fits the mold of what Paige likes to do and what Cameron likes to do. Um, to switch gears for a second here, I do want to go to some mock drafts. Um, from various sources because one mock I've never thought going to one mock draft website is a good indication of what um, the whole of the WNBA universe is feeling. We'll go over the top 5 picks right now, and then obviously when we get closer to the draft, we'll go into the top tens and stuff. And obviously, college play would have um, gone further and that stuff like that. Obviously, at one, They have the wing. This is brought to you via ESPN. Um, the Dallas Wings selecting Paige um, at 2. They have the Sparks selecting Kiki Afrani. I think that's how you say it. Power forward, 6'3", senior from UCS. That's actually a good pick. Keep it in the state. Um, at 3, they have this guy taking Fudd, teammate of Paige Bueckers, 5'10", shooting guard, junior. At 4, they have the Washington Mystics taking Olivia Miles, Notre Dame point guard, 5'10", junior. And the expansion team, the Golden State Valkyries taking Lauren Betts, 6'7", center, junior. Um, that is one source. Um, we can go to SI, Sports Illustrated. Um, Paige at 1, Kiki at 2 again, Olivia Miles at 3 for Chicago. They have the Mystics taking Barker, a 6'4", junior forward. And at 5, they have the Valkyries taking Morrow, a 6'1", forward, senior from LSU. Um, and my favorite resource for this kind of thing is is Tankathon. I think Tankathon is very good. Um, Obviously, Paige at 1, trending upwards. Um, Kiki at 2 for the Sparks. Olivia Miles at 3 for the Sky. Morrow at 4 for the Mystics, and Citron. Citron? I think that's how you pronounce it. Um, Guard forward from Notre Dame, at 5. So that's how everybody's feeling around right now. The college women's season has just started, so obviously that can be in flux. Um, Going through the rest of these teams, like the Mystics, like the Sparks, like the Sky, um, in my personal opinion, it does look like the Mystics need a center. Shakira Austin is okay. Um, they've had trouble keeping a roster because they have oh Lord, I forget her name, and she's such a good player. Not Steph Dolson. Oh my God, I can't remember her name. I apologize, I can't remember her name, but let me look it up. I have a resource in front of me. I can just look it up. Um, they've had trouble filtering a roster because they're kind of stuck in a time warp, so to speak. Um, with I'm struggling with her name. Jeez, I can't remember her name. I'm forgetting her name. I'm drawing a blank here, and I look like a freaking Elena Deladon. Jeez, they're struggling to filter a roster because Elena Deladon is still on the roster. Well, she was last time. She isn't on the current one. Um, but they've had trouble putting together a roster since she's been there and post her. Um, but they do have Steph Dolson. They do have Shakira Austin. Um, they do have Aaliyah Edwards, former teammate of Paige Bueckers. I think if they take a center, which Tankathon has them taking Morrow, a forward, a 6'1" forward. Um, I see Dominica here at 6'6". I don't know if you could convince yourself that's the best pick, but it looks like they need a center. Um, that's my half baked take. um, Going to the sky, obviously. I saw a report that they're seeking wings. They want some more long wings. Um, if we're gonna load their roster here, it's not letting me load their roster. Um, but I saw that report earlier in the week. Um, Obviously, they have the duo, the forward duo of Angel Reese and Camila Cardosa. They have Janae Carter, who a lot of people like. I'm not the biggest fan, but that's just me. Um, they just got their new coach. First time WNBA coach, was a college coach. Um, from what I saw, a lot of people like him as a coach. It's just transitioning to the WNBA. Um, like always, they have Dana Evans. Um, I can see where they're going with getting I assume they're going for a three. Um, in this scenario because you have Angel playing the four, you have Cardosa playing the five. You would go for a gritty three. And I do have the free agency pool pulled up right here because I think that's also important. Um, when talking about a team trying to make a second year jump, you need a make a second year jump in the sky scenario where you just barely missed the playoffs. You barely missed it. Um, just going through threes, specifically looking for threes. You do have you have let's see here. Nia Coffey, Elena Smith. Is it Elena or Alana? I think it's Elena. Um, NECA, um, Brianna Stewart. I don't think she's leaving. You have Satu. If you can get if you can get Satu, I think that's a huge deal. Would Satu come to to Chicago? Maybe, but like Satu's coming from Dallas, and they just got like the number one pick. I think a lot of chips would have to fall for Satu to head over there. Um, yeah, but if if you if you're going for that, if you're going for that, and then you can get a point guard, they have them. They have a lot of these websites have Chicago taking a point or a guard. I think that would be great. That would be big brain team building. If you can draft a guard to develop, because I personally don't think Chanae Carter is a championship level guard. I think maybe a six woman, a six player. She is a bucket, but she to me she kind of fits that um that like Lou Will, that that Lou Will, that Jamal Crawford sort of fit, sixth man, sixth woman. Um, but if you can draft a guard and then get a big time forward, I think you have a chance to compete for like a playoff run, which is what the Sky need because they're coming off. This is years ago at this point, winning a championship, and that roster is completely blown up and not even here anymore. But I think that'd be good for them to just you draft a guard and then you go seek out a season three or a four that can play the three because you do want to run Cardosa, right? That's what you say, Cardosa. Um, Reese, um, the three, a two, and then Carter probably, who isn't the best decision maker, but if you have a competent three, I think you're in Satu or anybody a competent three, they can bring up the ball and they don't have to worry. They can worry about distributing and stuff of that nature. Um, just looking at the just looking at the Sparks again. I think you really try and get Paige because you're right there. Like I don't know their pick situation, and I don't know how the WNBA picks work. Um, I'm not that deep into it, but I think you try to go get her. You try to offer a ransom. You try to offer a bag, like crazy amount of things to get Paige. And if maybe, and if it sets you back, it sets you back. Like that's not how you should build a roster. But if Caitlyn can come to a team that's pretty bad and make them good, I think Paige can do a similar thing. And what's 1 year being bad? You're gonna be bad. It's not college. You're not. She's been in college for 5 years now, I believe. She's going to be used to competing, but I think you take the gamble and you try to push for Paige. That's not a hot take, but I think that's what you do. Um, but yeah, I think that's it really. There's not too much to delve into or read into at this moment because we just have the pick order and we need to see who rises up these mock drafts, who goes down. Um, these are my bare bones takes right now on these, and free agency needs to happen. There's an expansion draft that needs to happen also for the Golden State Valkyries. So teams and picks and mock drafts can shift and move. I don't want to make this too long or delve too deep into it quite yet because it could be wrong in 2 months, 3 months time. So that's it. Um, it's the Paige Bueckers sweepstakes, man. Um, and like I said, I think she has Steve Nash um, capabilities and potential, and I think that's a great person to build a team around. And wherever she goes, I think they're gonna try to filter a quality team around her as quickly as possible. And for teams that don't have a coach, I think you come in, you sit a coach down in front of you and say, we might be able to get Paige. How would you incorporate her? How would you make her transition to the WNBA easier? Um, I think that's a great place to start. And if you don't get her, um, just looking through the mock drafts, um, there's a lot of potential at every position. That's the most blanket way I can say it. So I think you're heading into a good place when you when you when you have this kind of draft. It's not as flashy. The names aren't as flashy as they were last year, but I think there's potential at every position to be good, and the expansion draft is going to help. Um, More teams coming in the league in the future is going to help retain mid tier, good mid tier to good talent, and not just keep the great players. Um, and hopefully expand the league and grow the game. Um, Obviously, you have Juju coming down the pipeline in 2-3 years from now, so you have that to look forward to, and we'll see what happens with this draft. But we got off season, we got expansion draft, we got draft day, we got free agency. So it's gonna be a fun WNBA off season and then carry into the season. So um, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you like it, hit that like button. If you have comments, or if you want to educate me, or if I said something incorrectly, please do correct me. I don't mind being wrong. Um, yeah, thank you all for watching. Cheers.